Hello, everybody. I'm Josh.
And I'm Marichen.
Welcome to another episode of Collector's Confessional, and we thank you so much again for all the views that we have been getting.
Yeah, I'm definitely so excited. I've actually finally filmed a video since we've started this podcast
Mm-hmm.
and was able to talk about it a little on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you all are joining from my channel, thank you so much for stopping by and checking it out.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, I saw that video too. That was a great video. It was a
Well, thank
great
you.
video. We are sitting at 18 subscribers and 29 and 28 views collectively for both of our episodes. Thank you again so very much for listening. If you're coming from my channel, great. If you're coming from my lovely co-host channel, great. And if you're just here because you're listening to this, great. We leave all of our socials down at the bottom. If you're hearing this right now and you really do like this, give it a like and give it a comment, because engagement in the first hour, I've learned, is very important. So the first hour that this drops, if you want to help this out, give it a like and at least comment that, ooh, new video. That really helps out for this to grow. Not that we're trying to go for big, ambitious things. It's just it really does help.
It's always been fun to just kind of look and see how fast that this is growing. It's
Mm-hmm.
honestly surpassed what I thought it would just because it's so early on and we've only done this is our third podcast now,
Yeah,
so
third, yes.
it's grown a lot quicker than I thought it would.
And I've had a couple of groups of people help out with this, and try to help here. And some people are really excited, which gives me it makes me feel great that people are excited to hear this.
Yeah, for sure. It's always really nice when someone's excited to hear or see what you're putting out. So it's really awesome.
And I think I've talked to you about it, but if this is being put out before my new video, I have a brand new intro on my channel. And
Yes.
if this comes out before, which I think it will, I'm very excited for it. I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from it, and I, I, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, it's definitely super cool, you guys. If you've not seen it, it's really awesome. I really like it. And you need to pat yourself on the back because you did the music for that too, and that was really cool.
Yes, and I also did the music for our little intro, that little blip thing that you hear at the beginning to get your ears adjusted for the awesomeness that you're about to hear. I made that as well.
Yeah, I know. Look at you figuring out GarageBand over there.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. I used to play like one of those. The way it's set up is very easy to just kind of put beats and everything on there and adjust. So I remember playing something like that on like a Flash game years ago and really liking it. So it's like, oh, the memories of doing that are coming back, and you still have to have a sense of rhythm when you're making things like that. So you can't be like off. I mean, it's
Hmm.
impossible to be off in there, but it's I'm not trying to tool it up in here and use weird time signatures or anything.
Yeah.
But we have a lot to cover in this episode. One thing that is not so good in a sense, but is optimistic in a sense, and then some music that we have to cover as well.
Yes.
But first, I have a question for you, and this is just going to be a one-off. Do you follow NASCAR at all?
I usually don't. My pa is a big fan of NASCAR. Um, but yeah, Ryan Newman got in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
awful wreck.
The one time I actually tuned into something, I'm telling you, I can tell you right now that I even you can tell I'm shaking talking about it right now. Like,
Yeah, that was really horrific.
but
I mean, just like
yeah,
seeing it hurt me. But actually, I saw on the news tonight while I was eating before we started this. He's out of the hospital and he was
yes,
walking out with his daughters, and that was very exciting because he honestly could have been hurt a lot worse than he was.
yes,
So that's very great that he wasn't hurt more than he was.
exactly, and I'm just very thankful for that. I had a friend where we just saw it happen, and we spent the first like 2 hours just talking about safety regulations and all
Hmm.
of that, and trying to console him because he was just shaken. And
Yeah,
yeah,
they've put a lot of safety
right.
regulations in. A lot of people were freaking out because Dale Earnhardt died the Daytona 500.
Yes, and it was
And
because of him and the way he passed that we have the safety regulations that we have now.
mhm. Yes, exactly. And Ryan Newman is apparently a big stickler for keeping those regulations and adding to
Mm-hmm.
them and making sure that the races are as safe as possible. So I know everyone was really pulling for him. And I, again, no matter what I like and don't like, I'm not a big fan of NASCAR, but I'm
Right,
still so glad that he was
right,
able to
yeah.
make it out okay.
And I just wanted to do a little shout out to him and his family and just all those people who enjoy, if you actually enjoy NASCAR. Wanted to touch on that because that was something I was thinking about earlier today. So, uh, no other big news, but other than like Ozzy canceling part of his tour again. We also have Dave Mustaine, who recently beat cancer. I think we talked about that. Sharon Osbourne finally stopped dyeing her hair red.
Yeah, I seen that today
Yeah,
and I was really shocked about that.
yeah. But we're pulling for Ozzy, we're pulling for Ryan Newman's fans, and we're pulling for you for whatever you're going through.
Yeah. I also seen Elton John has walking pneumonia and he had to cancel some of his New Zealand shows, which was really sad.
Oh, I
I
had
love
that.
Elton
Yeah.
John. Yeah.
I had that before we even started this podcast, and it's why we actually delayed it when we did, because I had walking
Mhm.
pneumonia.
Yeah, so I'm definitely pulling for him too cuz he's one of
Yes.
my musical favorites,
Mm-hmm.
so definitely praying for a speedy recovery for him.
Right, and I gotta say, I really, with your video, I really liked that cover. I mean, I like the other cover, but that cover is just
Mhm.
so different to me.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen my video, I recently found Elton John's debut album, Empty Sky, and I found one of the US presses of the album, so it
Mm-hmm.
has the US cover. And I really like the UK cover. I do think that the US cover is different and really cool,
Mm-hmm.
but I also want to get a copy of the original UK
Yeah,
cover as well. So,
yeah, you owe it to yourself to get that, definitely.
yeah, of course.
So, you ready to talk some new music? Finally.
Yes, let's go.
Let's do the easy one. Let's talk about Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam is coming out with Gigaton at the end of March. We're actually about a month and 8 days away from that. I already have the pre-order going for that. There's two singles that were dropped. We are only going to talk about one right now until we can both catch up. The first is being Dance of the Clairvoyants, and the other is Superwolf Blood Moon. And I only want to touch on Superwolf Blood Moon for just a second because the way they actually kind of premiered the song before they put it out was that you could walk outside and go on PearlJam.com on your smartphone, and if you pointed it at the moon, it played part of the song.
That's really neat.
It is really neat. I have to applaud them for the marketing on that. But Dance of the Clairvoyants, what did you think of that song?
You know, personally, I don't think it's my favorite from Pearl
Mm-hmm.
Jam. I did like it and I enjoyed it, but I guess I'm just used to something different from Pearl Jam because I've not really listened to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
their newer releases. I
Right.
stay more toward their first few releases. But yeah, I think it was definitely really, really good, and I really enjoyed it honestly more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and as somebody who is like a not a diehard, but I'm a bigger fan. Um, I really enjoyed it. Not saying that I didn't enjoy Lightning Bolt, but Backspacer, the movement from the self-titled Avocado album to Backspacer to Lightning Bolt, it didn't feel like a natural progression in some ways, but it did. But it took what I liked about Lightning Bolt and grew it up a little bit, if that makes sense. But I feel like it's a special kind of song in that it is got a little bit of the energy of what we were looking for in Backspacer, but it's its own unique thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I struggled a little bit with it, just a teeny bit, because Matt Cameron sounded like a drum machine. Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's not no criticism because he's one of my favorite drummers, but it just sounded a little too drum machine to me. But of course, one of the members of the Talking Heads is the producer on this album, so it's gonna bleed through just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely get where you're coming from with that point.
Yeah, and I gotta love the guitar riff. That funky, that the way the guitar goes, that boom boom
Mm-hmm.
da da. I love that.
Yeah, I think that was really catchy, and honestly, it was probably like my favorite part of the song.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hesitate from giving it like a, oh, this is a 4 out of 5, this that. I'm just gonna tell you if I like it or not. There's no use of being like, well, this is the rating system. No.
Yeah, no, I try not to like rate too hard
Right.
on
Yeah.
songs and stuff. Just because, I mean, I honestly, opinions can change. To me, I could listen to one song one time and not like it, and I could listen to it 5 more times and end up liking it. So
Exactly.
I really hate to like rate something off of like my first opinion or something like
Yeah.
that. So
Keep in mind, I've listened to it about like 20 times at this point. So you're giving first impressions. I'm giving impressions of someone who's listened to it quite a bit at this point.
yeah, I've listened to it like twice, so I've not
Yeah.
really gotten to like really,
Get into the nitty gritty of it. And I've listened to it about, I'd
yeah.
say, like 20 times now. And now we can give that unique perspective of somebody who's listened to it to a lot, and then a first impression, which I think is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But
Of
speaking of
course.
first impressions, what did you think of Pedals for Armor Part 1?
Oh goodness. So I love Haley's voice. I am gonna be the first to say I think she has just an incredible voice.
Right.
Um, and I really think that she really got to display her vocal range in these 5 songs,
Right.
and it was just really cool to see all the things her voice could do. But I think that she kind of auto tuned some things, and I just wasn't a fan of some parts of songs.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have pulled up on my computer because I didn't know how in depth we were going to go. I have little thoughts on every song,
Okay.
so I don't know if
Yeah,
you want to go song by song.
we can. Yeah, we can do that definitely. And um, the comments behind it are kind of interesting. The way Haley, still loves Paramore. She still calls that kind of like a baby thing. With the guys and everything. And I've been reading the interviews, and it's kind of like this is special. But I agree
Mm-hmm.
with you on that, and especially if you know the song "All I Wanted." She tried to perform that live, and it almost broke her voice. So I can see where it's kind of like as you're getting a little bit older, depending on things that happen in the background. I'm not going to speculate or anything, but there's some other interviews where there was maybe some substance abuse. So that could have racked her voice a little bit more. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
defending her on using auto tune at all,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that could be a reason why. We don't know the full extent, but I'd like to go song by song. So what Haley is doing is releasing Pedals for Armor, I guess, in 3 parts, and then you can listen to the full album. I have the 10-inch vinyl pre-order already set, ready to go, because I really liked the first song. The first song is Simmer,
Mm-hmm.
and I gotta love that intro. That intro is catchy. It's different. It's actually something that I probably would do with one of my songs, to be honest. Um,
I'm I'm actually kind of the opposite on the intro. I
ah,
honestly I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, I thought it was okay, but I
mm-hmm.
guess it just wasn't really what I was expecting from that. And it kind of deterred me maybe from listening to the rest of it, but I obviously pushed through and listened to the rest of it.
Yes.
But I honestly just really wasn't a fan of the intro, and I think that kind of put me off from the rest of the song.
Okay.
But I think her vocals on this track were just really amazing anyway. She
Mm-hmm.
just has really pretty voice, so I really enjoyed that
Right.
aspect.
Yes, and it's interesting. I like to hear somebody's thoughts on something that I might have liked that somebody else didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
I think it helps you grow as a person and talk about music in a way that everybody's different. Like you said, so that turns you off on it, and that was something that I found kind of unique about the track.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about "Leave It Alone"?
Personally, I love the lyrics on this one,
I do too.
and the second I really heard her start singing, she kind of reminded me of Joni Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
We all know I'm a huge Joni Mitchell fan, and I think the way that her voice was portrayed in this just really reminded me of some like Joni Mitchell, Blue, Ladies of the Canyon era
Yes.
stuff. Um, and I like that this song wasn't as like auto-tuned and electronic. I feel like there were a lot of electronic things throughout
Mm-hmm.
these 5 songs that I wasn't as big of a fan of. So I feel like this one kind of focused more on actual instrumentation and her voice, and I really, really like this song.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it's probably my favorite of the 5, honestly.
It's that one's one of my. I'm not going to say they're all my favorite, but I agree. I'm somebody that is okay with some electronic music. Heck, I'm one of the biggest metal guys, and my album of the year last year was Lindsey Sterling's Artemis. Believe it or
Mm-hmm.
not, that funky electronic dance beat kind of thing actually won me over. So I guess I'm kind of more expanding. I what did you think of Cinnamon?
Um, I really like the beginning of
Mm-hmm.
this, but some parts I think the drums were kind of choppy. I don't know if that was, I'm assuming it was intentional,
Yes, I think it was
but
intentional.
it was not necessarily my favorite uh thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have been a little smoother. Just as somebody who's dated like 2 drummers in the past, like that's something that I really pick up on
Mm-hmm.
is the drums for some reason. So that like really kind of just and like the whole ooh ah like thing, I don't really know why there was so much of that, because by the time you really got into it, she didn't really have like a lot of lyrics technically. It was just like a lot of ooh ah kind of,
I think
you
that
know.
song is more of an experience song,
Mm-hmm.
with the intentional drums being a little off and everything. To me, it's kind of like there are certain songs, and I'm using Tool here as an example because they use the funky signatures and everything, where they use the funky signatures to kind of get you into a particular vibe or a particular way. That's the way
Mm-hmm.
I interpreted it.
Yeah, I could see that, but it just kind of really threw me off because I felt like each song was like so different, kind of.
Yes, yes, I agree. Each song was kind of really different.
And I mean, usually whenever you think of listening to an album in full, it's kind of cohesive. Songs kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so for me, it was really different because each song kind of had its own different aspects. And no song was really honestly the same on this.
Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder if, yes, this is part one, but if this is not the actual legitimate track listing for the full Petals for Armor.
Mm-hmm.
What if she kind of picked the first 5 out of the tracks that are going to be on there and show off that? I mean, I haven't checked the track listing as of the filming of this or the recording of this, so I could be completely wrong. But this could be just a sampling of what we're going to get later.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
could,
I definitely get what you're
yeah.
getting at.
What'd you think of Creepin'?
Um, you know, I like the song. I liked the "Why You Creepin' Round Here," but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like how auto tuned and weird sounding it was. Like I
Yeah.
liked the aspect of it and how it fit into the song. I just wish maybe like instead of doing that weird little auto tune, maybe she would like have used a little bit more of her rock vocal stylings that she's really good at to
Mm-hmm.
make it stand out, or do something else to make it stand out, because I get that that's kind of supposed to be the standout point of the song.
Right.
But I just feel like auto tuning it was not the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And not saying that I was struggling through it, but it's kind of different, and I'm trying to get in the mind of where what she wanted to present and
Mm-hmm.
what she wanted to talk about in that. So there's that kind of mindset that I have, that it's like I have the critic mind, I have the listener mind, and then I have the what is the artist trying to do mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I know I'm saying some negative things, and I'm also saying some positive things. I
Yes.
don't mean any of this bad toward Haley or
No.
anything
No.
like that. And I want to make that clear. I know you don't necessarily think that, but I want to make that clear for everyone watching who
Mm-hmm.
thinks maybe I'm just hating on Haley. I'm not. I really am not. I promise. I am a fan of Miramore myself.
Yeah.
Um, but I try and really honestly give my honest opinion on things.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't want people thinking I like something that I don't like, or vice versa. And I know that an album really honestly represents what a band or artist is going through in that time, and each creation they have is really special to them, and I get it. So just because I don't like it doesn't mean that somebody else can't, and that it can't be meaningful to the person who wrote it. So I just
Exactly.
want to throw that out there before everyone starts like, well, she just doesn't like anything that Haley does.
I'm
Yeah.
a I'm a big Haley fan. I'll say this: I'm the same way too. I will let you know if I don't like it, and it's very hard for me not to like something.
Hmm.
For example, I like Taylor Swift. Yes, go ahead and groan in the comments. I've actually lost cred with some people, which is stupid. You can like whatever the heck you want to like. Like whatever you want to like. I don't care what you listen to. Like what you want to like. But to me, it felt like her album Reputation was a step down on certain
Hmm.
things. So that's an example of where I was kind of like, "Whoa, I like you, but what are you doing?" And not like to that full extreme, but I find it refreshing that you are doing that.
Yeah. Um, and the last song, Sudden Desire, again, it was probably one of my favorites
Yes.
on here. I liked how like the backing vocals really flowed with Haley's voice. I think that was probably like one of the most
Mm-hmm.
melodic songs, and I really enjoyed that song as well. So if you take anything out of this, Leave It Alone and Sudden Desire are probably my favorites.
Right, and I will say this: content wise, it gets a little. Ooh, Haley, what you thinking? And I'm not going to do any speculation because there are people stupidly speculating online about who is it, who is it, who is it. Who cares? This is
Hmm.
the song she wanted to present, and it's actually a damn good, very adult oriented topic kind of song.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. And I'm not going to give ratings or anything, but from what I've heard, it makes me want to hear more. And I think
Hmm.
that's the goal of this EP is, do you want to hear more? I know I want to hear more. I don't know if you want to hear more.
I do. I honestly, I want to see what she does with this album. Just these 5 songs alone have honestly been so different from each other and have really made me want to see what else she has in store for the album and what else she's planning on putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely made me want to see if every song is so different. Or if maybe these just kind of flow with the rest of the album and we just don't have it to listen to yet. So,
Exactly. It's all speculation right now.
yeah, I'm excited to see where
Yeah,
it goes.
I am too. And we need to talk about speculation stuff because now I think we're ready to transition to our main topic tonight.
All right.
So, for those of you who are not in the know, there was a massive fire that occurred earlier in the month to a company called Apollo Masters. And we're going to get into why this is not dire, but very important. And in order to understand kind of what happened there, we kind of have to talk about how records are made. So, we are now getting into the dark terminology. Oh, no. If you hear a lot of terminology and you're overwhelmed, there's a lot of terminology to it. I'm going to try to explain as best I can. And hopefully you learn a little bit about the record making process. So, essentially, the record making process kind of goes like this. And I know I'm loosely basing it, and I've talked to people, in the past, and I've gotten comments on it, on my own videos that I've done with my crash course in record collecting. I might revert that video. I might even do an update video of that. But essentially, it goes like this: you have the band record the music. It gets mastered and it's either on to digital or, in rare cases, on actual tape. For example, Foo Fighters' Wasting Light was put to tape. So once you have that master tape, and there's another conversation we can have on another episode about the fire that happened at Universal Studios, where all those
Hmm.
master tapes went away. That might be another interesting topic to talk about, because that's a
Yeah.
major impact on the music industry, like this is. So you have the master tape, and you have kind of everything ready to go. Then there is what's called the lacquer, and this is the master of the master of the master.
Hmm.
Essentially, what happens is there is this lathe that cuts one big old circular groove into a vinyl lacquer. And that lacquer, what's nice about that is once you cut it one time, it is the master forever. You can make as many what we call stampers, and I'll get into that in just a second, from that lacquer as you want.
Hmm.
So after the lacquer is created, it's basically put on this spindle where Ionized metal basically gets magnetized to it, and when you pull that off, that creates basically a negative, and then you dip that negative back in and it creates a positive. So what that essentially creates is what we call a stamper. And a stamper is basically what the grooves of the record that get pressed, both sides. So from there, basically it gets put into a machine, and a whole bunch of vinyl record pellets are superheated to over 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very hot. And two labels are put down, one on the A side, one on the B side. The label is actually very important because it helps center the record. And I'm basically doing the one singular color. If we want to talk about colored records or splatter or split or everything, we can talk about that in just a minute. But essentially, it basically goes one label, what they call the vinyl puck, which is the superheated vinyl record, and then the other label, and that gets very super pressed at like 300,000 pounds or so. It's like an astronomically high number, and basically it gets pressed onto that vinyl puck and then squeezed. It's almost like the analogy I can think of is when you're pouring batter from your waffles into your waffle maker. When it makes the indents and all the imprints, and then there's some excess. So once that is pulled off the stamper, the excess gets trimmed, and then it gets put into a cooling area. Because it can warp right. You can easily bend it with your hands if you wanted to. When it comes down to colored variants, like the splatter variants, the puck has to be handled with specialized gloves, and basically they make it look like a jelly donut that has like a bunch of sprinkles on it. So they actually dip it in like heated pellets and then press it there. When it comes to splits, you actually have to cut it in half and put the two together and then put the label. So whenever you see like the tricolors, the splits, anything colored, if it's a little bit more money, that means there's more labor that goes into it. That's why it costs a little bit more. Which is,
yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's worth it.
Yes. And it doesn't matter the color. If the master that is used sounds like garbage, when it goes to the lacquer, the entire thing's going to sound like hot garbage. It's like shit in, shit out, trash in, trash out, So, and then once it's pressed, it goes into an area where they sleeve it up, shrink wrap it, and get it out to stores. So, what does this mean with the Apollo Masters? Well, there are only two companies in the world, one in Japan and one here in America, that make the lacquers and make the lathes to cut the lacquers. Not only was the one in Japan swamped, they are no longer taking new orders. And essentially, the Apollo Masters took 95%. They made 95% in estimation of the entire vinyl record industry. So what does this mean? Well, it means that first of all, this was a long time coming because everybody in the industry kind of knew something like this was going to happen, and they needed kind of a contingency plan. Because right now, there's not really any contingency plans. So what essentially does this mean? Well, that means there might not be as many newer records pressed. If you have a bigger company that is throwing a lot of money, you might see bigger bands pressing, but the indie bands might not be pressing as much. We might see sites like Q-Rates. We might see like indie bands that really want to get pressed, and they have it on like, I can't think of that name. Not SoundCloud, the other one. One of those hosting sites where you can kick back to the band if you want to give them a little bit of money and you can buy a vinyl record. Those days might be gone next year. Estimations are this year we're fine.
Yeah.
Record Store Day is going to be happening. Black Friday might be pushing it a little bit, but estimations are that this year we are fine with the stock we have. Next year is going to be interesting to see where we're going to go from that. So what could this mean? Well, it can mean more pressings of stuff that's already been pressed. like they're trying to do funky stuff that doesn't need to be happening. We we might see more, not picture discs, and I'll go into how they're pressed in just a second. We might see prices of new records skyrocket.
Hmm.
Don't be shocked if you see a $40+ single record. We might see the price of used records skyrocket as well. We might see some of our favorite local record shops that are not as kind of big. Like, I know your record shop and my record shop are probably going to be fine,
Hmm.
but we might see the price of used records skyrocket up. We might see thrift stores no longer carry records, or they'll be like $15 for, Tennessee Earl Ford sings hymn songs, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, it, we don't know at this point, and I'm not going to speculate at this point. Matt at Too Many Records did a wonderful video on this. Not as informative, like not as deep down as what happening here, but I'm kind of echoing what he says. We don't know what's going to happen with this, and it doesn't scare me as much, but it does scare me.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it really worries me much either, because I actually watched Matt's video as well, and I was gonna say he did a really good job kind of explaining the gist without getting too in detail about everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm kind of like you. They've got stuff for Record Store Day already in the making, and
Right.
things that they've already made. So like your Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Kiss,
Yeah.
your classic stuff that has been made, they can make as many reissues as they want of that
Yes.
one now. It's more or less like new albums that are coming out this year that maybe they haven't announced, or albums that are coming out next year that they haven't
Mm-hmm.
pressed yet. It's things that haven't been announced, new things, maybe things that have never been pressed on vinyl before, like a 90s album from a band you really like and you're hoping that one day it will get pressed. It might be pushed back even more now, um, because of these fires. And
Yeah.
it's sad, but
It is sad, and I'm thankful no one got hurt. That's the main
yeah.
thing. Now there could be new technologies that come out that could help us. There's a lot. There's a hurdle now, especially with EPA regulations. I'm somebody for helping our planet. Over listening to a record, I will take that any day. But there has to be innovation in technology, and I think this is the perfect time to push that.
Yeah. I'm definitely hoping that they'll maybe evolve and maybe find another way
Right.
to make masters to press these albums. So I'm hoping that this kind of is like a lesson, I guess.
Yes. And then there's also direct metal mastering, which is you take you take out the lacquer, you move directly to the stamper portion roughly. It's basically cut to a metal disc.
Hmm.
A lot of European ones are DMM. I think if you did any of Matt's TMR records, I think those were direct metal mastered. And there's
Hmm.
debates on if that's truly the way to do it, yeah. But there's that. Or we could go straight to lathe cutting. If you want to do something special, let's do a lathe cut. And essentially what
Hmm.
that is you stick a piece of blank vinyl. It is fully ready to go, and you cut the grooves directly there, right as you're sitting there.
Hmm.
So it could be to that point where everything's lathe cut. Like we said, we don't know, and at this point, it's not the unknown is scary. It's the unknown is it had to happen at some point. What do we do now?
Yeah.
And yes, there's that one that's pushing out of Japan. So we at least have one going, but they're not taking on new orders. So it'll be interesting to see in the coming months what is happening.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if these effects aren't really going to start affecting us until 2021.
Right.
Um, because like we have already discussed, things that have already been announced. So like albums that have already been announced and have like vinyl pre-orders up, they've already got their masters more than likely, and they can already more than likely press these albums. But let's say a band that you're into announces an album 2 days from now, they might not have a vinyl pre-order just because the plant can't do anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of sad to kind of see that happen because
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally one that loves to get the vinyl copies whenever I
Yes.
pre-order albums.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a good CD player anymore. I have one in my room that I bought from Walmart, and I mean it works fine. But other than that, I don't have one in my car anymore. They don't
Yeah.
make CD players in your car,
Mm-hmm.
and CDs aren't just as readily available anymore.
No.
So I don't play them as much. And I know that records aren't portable either. I
Nope.
get it. Um, but I mean, for me, it's more just the format itself. I just love all the artwork and pulling out the record and getting to place the needle. That's just one aspect I've always loved of record collecting. And so it's sad that there could be some possible negative effects in the near future.
Right. Yeah. It's the unknown right now, and I'd like to talk about how picture discs kind of play into this.
Yeah.
So the way picture discs kind of play into this is you take the puck, and instead of pressing the grooves directly onto the puck, you slap two pieces of paper on the puck, and then a thin sheet of plastic, and then you press the record. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why typically you have a lot more surface noise, and that's why a bunch of us collectors scoff at a picture disc, because sometimes it's not the best sound quality.
Yeah. I'm not against picture discs.
Me
I have
neither.
some in my collection.
Same.
Um, I don't play them as much, and I don't claim that they're as good quality as any of the other records
Right.
in my collection. But I'm a collector. I have things that are from a collector's aspect.
Right.
Like a lot of the Disney records that I have that are on the picture discs, like Aladdin, The Jungle Book, The
Yep.
Incredibles, Mulan, Coco. I mean, I have so many of them. And I love them and I love the music on them. And I think it's just a really nice collector's piece to have. I mean, do I listen to these every day or as much as I listen to like the Rolling Stones or the Beach Boys or whatever else that I have on vinyl that I'm listening to? No. But it's just a nice, really fun piece to talk about.
It is, and I have a couple of them. I can list them off. TVC 15. I don't know the B side off the top of my head from David Bowie. I have a live David Bowie EP that's 4 live songs. That I love the pictures on those. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I have Man Who Sold the World on picture disc. I have Lindsey Sterling, 2 of her Christmas songs on picture disc. But now that I actually own the full album, that one I don't play it at all, because I got that one to tide me over until I could actually buy the full album, and I bought the Barnes & Noble exclusive 2-disc set.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there is a very loud truck coming through right now. Actually, no, that's a helicopter. I don't know if you're picking up on that.
I am a little bit, yeah.
Sorry, everybody. I live near a military base.
Oh, hey, that's okay. I'm surprised you haven't heard my cat. So, she has decided to lay right next to me, and she's purring and like
Aww.
just scratching the bed. So I'm surprised you guys haven't heard her
Yeah.
yet.
The joys of trying to schedule out recording and not have everything just all of a sudden in the background be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Going back to the picture discs, I have Echo Smith, uh, Cool Kids, and the B side is kind of like a funky kind of remix on that. And speaking of Echo Smith, I actually was kind of disappointed with their new album, to be honest. I only gave it one listen though, but it was way too generic for me.
Yeah, I never really got the hype around Echo Smith to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really listen to their first album that much. I know they had a few hits off of it that were played on the
Mm-hmm.
radio, and I didn't think anything really super special about them. So, I mean, honestly, that really doesn't surprise me that their album is generic, but at the same time, I also kind of hoped that it would be better, I guess.
Yeah. Listen for yourself out there, and my lovely co-host, and then make a decision for yourself. But I just knew that
Mm-hmm.
the minute I heard something from an artist I never heard before, and I was halfway through a song, and I thought that it had better production than the entire album, that's a problem.
Yeah.
The last picture disc I have is Ronnie James Dio and Friends, and it's 3 songs from the cover album and 3 Dio live tracks. And it is my most played picture disc. I have been wanting that for years. I always saw it in my record store, and I always passed on it. But I finally picked it up, and I was not disappointed. Actually, it's in my YouTube intro. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, hey. There you go.
The records in my YouTube intro are my Biffy Clyro, which I got the very first ever record store day that I went to, and that's how I really got to know. Oh, this is record store day. This is what it's about. Um, and then the second one is the LCLP, which is my most quote unquote sought after record. It's 21 Pilots, so you know people could be a little obsessed with that band. But it's a long out of print special record store day piece. And that goes for upwards of triple digits in the asking on the secondary market. I also have the one that is modeled after Disgear Day. That one goes for 60. For some odd reason, people are asking for $60 on there. I don't know why. For some reason, people are asking a lot for my Stone Temple Pilots. That apparently is not one of the best sounding ones. Like, you want to get an original pressing or an earlier pressing. I don't know why people are asking that much for it. Honestly, I'm buying records to listen to it for me. And if it's worth some money, great. If not, oh well. But I just, I was recently looking at it, I'm like, why? But why, though?
Yeah. Why would you want to pay that much money for a 7-inch?
Yeah, well, Beatles.
Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. But you know what? It is what it is. Let me hop on the old Discogs app while we're talking here, because I'm recording on my computer, and let's see what the LCLP is going asking price. Keep in mind, there's only 3 songs on it, and they're all 3 live tracks. They actually sound pretty good. I haven't listened
Yeah.
to it in a couple of years, and I only pull it out for very special occasions. Not because of that, but it's hard to find where the now that I'm more confident on finding where the grooves are. It's hard to find the grooves on this. It's more of kind of a showpiece record.
Yeah, I mean, it's shaped like Ohio. I mean, I
Right.
feel like that's probably part of why it's so expensive is the fact that it's got this really cool shape. But
Yeah.
at the same time, 21 Pilot stuff is just crazy expensive anyway.
Mm-hmm. It was Record Store Day 2015, only 4,000 pressed. So that's not much. I mean, it's more than some of the records that I own. Um, but right now, somebody is asking for a mint condition, the sleeve having a tear for 135. I would say mine is very good because I played it a couple of times, and my sleeve is pretty much near mint. I'd probably get if I was stupid enough to sell it 150, but I'm not because I like it. It's a
Yeah.
conversation piece, you know.
Yeah.
21 Pilots. Let me hop here. Double sided, which is the Disgear Day one. Disgear Day is Record Store Day in France. There's a few older ones, and Doubt. Both are live tracks. Let's see. Do they have any information on how many were pressed? 7,500, and I have a higher there. Right now, for a mint copy, there is $60. Why? Why though?
Yeah. You know what they can do with those prices? They can take them and shove them because it's ridiculous. I hate scalpers like that.
Yeah.
It just makes me so mad.
Now, here's the thing. Here's one that it doesn't bother me with, at least this one. I have the original pressing. This was before I kept all the hype stickers, which you could argue hype sticker with the values and everything. But I have the first pressing of Evanescence Fallen, the purple one. I paid
Hmm.
$30 for that thing, which was a lot of money for me at the time. There's somebody who's selling their very good plus and very good version, so you can tell they played it, and they just need a little
Uh-huh.
extra money for $70. When I see very good plus and very good, that means they've played it, and unfortunately, they probably have to sell it for some money. So
Yeah.
that doesn't bother me that much. But going for $70, that's pretty cool. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and then what's another one? Let me look up just for the fun of it my 21 Pilots one, just so we can laugh at it.
Yeah. I
I
know that a lot of the main releases, they get really expensive.
mm-hmm,
And I mean, I know they're a smaller band and they only press so many, but I don't understand why they get to be so expensive because
right.
honestly, I mean, I know that vinyl is becoming a thing and a
Mm-hmm,
lot more people are getting into vinyl, but the main press is enough that their fan base should be able to get their hands on a copy. And
exactly.
they have older records that have been pressed one time that maybe people couldn't get their hands on. But eventually they'll repress those, so I'm not going to be paying like literally. There are three of their older records that people are asking upwards of $300 for.
What?
Yeah, yeah. No, I wish I was joking, but I'm
I
not.
I would honestly, for an original pressing of Anima from Tool, I would be willing to drop 300 bones for that. There's a very select few that I'd be willing to drop that kind of money for.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that for like a single record. Now, like if it was a box set or something, I could see $300, but like
Yeah.
just just a single record, I could not. I mean, their newest album, You Were Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
originally pre-ordered the biggest bundle possible. It come with a tricolor record and it was limited to like 250 or something really limited like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um and now it's going for like almost $200 on Discogs.
Wow. Keep in
And
mind that it's their asking price. It didn't sell for that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I just don't understand it. The album come out last year, and like you're asking almost $200 for that. I mean, like there were a ton of different variants that were
Mm-hmm.
pressed of this album, and some you can find easily. I think there's even one on their website that hasn't even sold out. And here you are asking like $200 for this one. Like it's just crazy.
I wish you could see my face right now as you were talking about that. Like really. Stone Temple Pilots Core was out of 3,000. It was pressed on yellow. Has some clicks and pops to it. I will be honest. It was not a perfect pressing. I got 1992 out of 3,000. And if you know the year that it came out, that's specifically why I chose that number. I just grabbed one. I asked Martin, hey, can I get 1992? Because that's the year it came out. He said, yeah, sure. So I grabbed it specifically because that was the year it came out. That number was special to me because I'd always wanted Stone Temple Pilots Core. And I'm like, this album's kind of special to me, so why not buy the year that it came out, you know? Because everybody's like, oh, you need to get close to the number, blah, 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 blah. As long as it sounds good, I don't care. Right now, the near mint asking price is 196.66. Why though? It's not even the best pressing.
Yeah, people just want the money. People are greedy.
Now I can understand some people that unfortunately they have to sell it, and then there are others that try to make a business out of it. Like I'm not blaming record stores for trying to sell this at a decent price to get some money, but when
Hmm.
it's Joe asshole trying to do it, like really,
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen a lot of people on Discogs and eBay and everywhere else just ask so much money for something that's really honestly not worth it.
right? Yeah, I'm just for the fun of it. I'm gonna hop on here. You're gonna click a lot. We're going to go into values for now. The last time the LCLP was sold was actually in January of 2020. And let's see here. The highest it ever sold for was 215.83. Y'all the dumbasses.
Who paid that much? I personally want to go and smack some sense into them.
Now, okay, that was for a mint copy. Played once, bought from store, sticker sleeve.
That's ridiculous.
The last time it sold was for straight $100. I can see maybe it getting close to 100, but that's still ridiculous. That is redonkulous to me.
No, like I honestly don't even know if I would pay more than like $50 for a copy.
Right,
Because to
yeah.
me, $50 for a 7 inch is like bullshit,
It's not even a seven
honestly.
inch. It's between like it's a glorified 6 inch record, to be honest. Let's
Yeah.
see. Stone Temple Pilots Core. Let's see what it sold for. Last sold on the 15th of December. I'm not a robot. Highest was 115. The last time this particular pressing sold, it sold for, I love graphs, 97.50. I mean, that's a reasonable for it being kind of a rarer record store day piece, but no. Unless it's something like uber special, like, for example, I have Boxer Live in Brussels. The National is kind of a coveted band, especially because if it's something rare, it could go for some coin, but not like astronomical amounts of money. Like
Hmm.
right now, there's a uh, near mint, very good plus sleeve condition, conservatively graded, no corner dings, mono creasing on the front, plays beautifully. Mine has like one little imperfection on the foiling, to be honest. So the lowest asking price is 74. But let's see the last time it sold. January. Okay. Incorrect verification code. We're not robots.
We might be.
We might be. $80. Something like that, where it's like 80, where it was kind of harder to find when it was like $30 originally. That makes a little more sense than, all right, something super limited, let's pay $150 for it.
Yeah, no.
It's
I
probably some teenager who doesn't know any better.
Yeah. I kind of agree. Like I hate to throw shade at people my age, but it's so true.
I'll say this: the last time mine sold was $80, and that was a mint copy with the hype sticker. So I'm happy because that there was actually a box set that had a repressing of Evanescence. So, and personally as a collector, part of me is glad that it kept its value. But
Uh-huh.
the other part of me is like, why though? If someone wants this, why are you selling it for so damn much?
Yeah, and a lot of the thing is that there are multiple pressings of this album. Why don't you just get one that's readily available that's like $20 instead of trying to find one that's like 125?
What the frictopus? Okay, so you remember when Brand New Eyes came out for Paramore? There was the CD box set. I grabbed that, and I
Uh-huh.
still have it to this day. I have it's scattered all around the house because I have the poster in my room. I have the signed CD jacket that I got from when all the not OG band members. Hunter wasn't it there. It was at the time Brand New Eyes OG members. I have it
Uh-huh.
signed. I have the booklet signed and hanging in my record room. The 7 inch is in another room where I'm playing it. The CD is in my car, and I have my meet and greet bracelet, and I have some confetti from the first concert I went to in there. So it's all scattered around. But a very good plus version of it just sold for $149. Now, like you said, something like a box set, like that, but it's a CD with a 7 inch. Like,
Yeah. That's not
why?
worth it. Like that to me, like a box set is like 5 plus records, something like that. Like it's got multiple albums in it. It's not just something limited or whatever. Like people want to try and make a box set. Like a 3 LP is a box set. I don't
Right.
understand that. It's just a 3 LP. Like if it physically comes in a box and there's multiple records, yes. If it's just one record, to me, it's not a box set.
Okay, I want to know the dumbass who on May the 5th, 2017, paid $125 for this particular record. Okay, so for Bookstore Day, they pressed Welcome to Night Vale. And if you don't, have you heard of the podcast Welcome to Night Vale?
I have not.
It's a very Cthulhu kind of sci-fi-esque kind of podcast where you're hearing the news of what has gone on, kind of like you're hearing like the news broadcast. And it's like there's also a weather segment, but it's a indie band that you've never heard of before. Every episode that they feature, and there's like a radio DJ host. Well, they came out with a book, and this is tracks from the audio recording of the book, and then interviews with the three creators and the voice of the podcast. So that's
Uh-huh.
something that is like completely unique. It's not even music, it's spoken word. It's one of my favorite releases because my best friend got it for me. That's something like that's really unique and cool. But I don't know how much she paid, but 2 years ago someone paid $125 on Discogs for it. You want to know how much the last time it sold was?
Oh no.
$20. You
Really?
got skunked so badly.
Oh wow.
This is what's bad about collecting.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's so bad that somebody's gonna pay like $90 for something, and then 2 weeks later somebody pays like $20 for the same thing.
Okay,
So sad.
I could see this one going for a lot of money because there are people that like this. I haven't played it as much because I haven't been in the mood. I bought Linkin Park's One More Light Live, which is it's a numbered gold and black pressing. Sounds really good. Has a few clicks and pops here and there, but it is a really nice pressing. It's not a gatefold, unfortunately, but it's going for like $65 right now. And let me. Okay, it wants me to click on the traffic lights. Sorry, everybody, you're actually hearing me click now. I'm trying to keep it so you don't hear that. The last time it sold was $50. I paid about 35. So that little bit of inflation doesn't sound too ridiculous to me.
Yeah. I really wanted to get that on record store day, but I just didn't have the funds to get it. And it was either that or Courtney Barnett. And I felt
Courtney
so
Barnett.
bad that I love Courtney Barnett. So I went with it. And, I mean, honestly, $50, I might pick it up at some point.
Yeah, or if I might do a trade with you if I'm so inclined eventually. Because like I said, I don't listen to it, but we do like fair value, of course.
Uh-huh.
It'd be like a fair value kind of trade, and you're someone I trust with that. So who knows? I might actually be up to trading it. Because I just recently sold a couple of records for the first time, so that might be something that's up for trade. It's going for the last time it sold was $60. The lowest was 30. Um, so a little undervalued for what it actually was. At one point, it
Mm-hmm.
was $90. I wouldn't necessarily do that crazy because you. Oh wait, no, this is my We Are the In Crowd. What the hell was I doing? One of my favorite albums of all time. I was looking at that. Let me go back to the other one because my brain was like, "Did I look at this?" Sorry. I was jumping ahead to my next one. Traffic lights. I have a fantastical brain, everybody. I am so sorry. The last time it sold was $50. So, yeah. Uh, the highest one was 161.
Wow.
Just why though? Everybody just say why though.
Yeah, I mean,
Why?
why would you pay that much for a record? Is what I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like try and set limits as to like how much I'm gonna spend on something because I'm not gonna be like paying an arm and a leg for stuff. I mean, that's just people
That's
amaze me.
dumb. That's dumb. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest. There's one record. It's very limited by my favorite band, Tonight Alive. This was back when they were on their old label. It's their second album. It only had 500 press. It doesn't look like they probably are going to get it pressed again, and it is very hard to find. It always goes for about $100, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, I just cannot drop the bones for that, and it kills me because it's one of my favorite albums of all time. So that's one double-edged sword of being a collector is you have that. I'm going to go over a couple more because I think this is fun. I think you should do this next time on yours if you have like a laptop present. I think that might be fun.
Yeah, I definitely do.
So we're going through mine, and we'll probably go through yours next time. Marcy Playground. First ever pressing of the self-titled album, Sex and Candy and all that stuff. Recently sold for $50. It comes with a 7-inch. The highest it sold for was 80, which is not too bad. That inflation doesn't sound too bad to me.
Yeah.
So the Paris White Noise half black, half white split that I have. Splits are harder to press, like we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pop to my show details, and it has gone down significantly, which is normal. 45 was the last it sold for, but why though?
Yeah, that's still kind of pricey.
No, this one is my polyester Zeal from Red Sun Rising, one of my newer favorite rock bands. Sold for 65 recently. Wow. I did not get their album Thread. I'm kicking myself because I would love to have their second album, but it was very limited. They tried to do something limited. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going through my median asking price, kind of going high to low. 21 Pods Blurry Face, we already know that. You're stupid. Go get another pressing of it.
Yeah.
The self-titled vinyl box set for Paramore. Uh, Asking $50 for it. That's normal asking price anyway for it, so it's not inflated at all. That's how much
Mm-hmm.
I probably paid for it with shipping when I first got it. So that's right about asking price. I don't think it'll dip below that, but it definitely dipped $38 at one point. So Foo Fighters. I got the 10-inch Songs from the Laundry Room. I play it every once in a while. It's one of those that I don't play because I have to be in the mood to pop a 10-inch on the turntable. But it's one that I listen to. Let's see here. It's telling me, please click on traffic lights. It knows I'm trying to price things. So it's gone down in value. Last it sold was $43. What? I only paid like $10, paid like $12 for that. Why?
Yeah, people are just dumb. They'll waste their money on anything. And I just don't see it.
Yeah, there are some
You know?
like that make sense to me,
Yeah.
and then some. Okay, so FYE, a bunch of them closed down. I have
Mm-hmm.
Hailstorm's Vicious, which is a dual solid green transparent, and it is 45 RPM. So it is one of my actually better sounding records because they took the quality and did everything with it. Props to FYE. The only time it ever sold was the day after Christmas for $48. I did not pay that. To be honest, I actually got it at their like closing sale. I got that and Hail to the King for like I want to say $30. I got lucky on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I need to pop that one out and listen to it more. You know what? There's only so many days in the year, and there's only so much time that you have during the day. So
Yeah.
sometimes listening to records is impossible for me.
Yeah, I totally understand that as well. I mean, I listen to records every day, but some days I have more time than others. And I feel sad, but I mean, you know what? You can't listen to them every minute of every day
There's
unless
some
you're just home all
days.
the time.
There are some days I cannot listen to a record at all. Like after we're done here, there's gonna be no time for me to be able to listen to records because
Oh, yeah, no. After we get done with this, I am going to bed.
I'm gonna be going to bed probably too. I'm gonna make sure that it's all recorded and everything, of course, but going to bed. Let's see. Alice in Chains Facelift Live. That was the first time it was pressed. That one went for $60. You see, that one I could see, because that was
Hmm.
probably a little bit more of a coveted one, especially because it's Lane Staley and Mike Starr era. So, that one goes for a bit. Now I got ones of those disappearing kind where you have to click on all the cars. Ooh, you're really testing my eyes tonight, Discogs.
Ooh.
Boop. Just be warned, when you do this for yours, you're gonna have to probably go through what I'm going through.
Oh yeah. I'm not even trying to think about how many of those little security things it's got.
It's now having me click on 50 million fire hydrants. This was the last one I wanted to look at. Thank you very much. Alright, so this was my Lindsay Starling Warmer in Winter that I got for $40 on barnesandnoble.com. It's probably out of print now, but went for $50. Okay.
So not too inflated.
No, and I actually have a signed record by her.
Oh wow.
When my favorite album by her is Shatter Me. I would love to have that, but do you know how much that goes for?
Oh, probably more than I want to think about.
Let me see if I could find a listing. There is a version for $90. What?
Wow.
What? Oh, it's a black pressing. I don't care. I don't care if it's a black pressing. Holy crap! It goes for like a couple $100.
Oh no. I don't understand why anybody would want to pay that much.
Well, it's Lindsey Sterling, Lizzie Hale. This was just when she was starting to really blow up. Unfortunately, I can no longer buy that many more records because I don't know if I told you, but they found mice, rats, and snakes in my ceiling.
Oh no.
And they had to suck out all the old inflation. They had to plug up all the holes with metal flashing, and they had to re-blow the insulation. And this was to the tune of a loan of $6,000.
Oh gosh.
And then this past weekend, I had to put a new battery in my car.
Oh no. You've just had a very rough past couple weeks.
I have 2020, the brand new decade. What's gonna happen? Let's see. I get walking pneumonia. I have to put insulation in my attic. I have to get a new car battery. And there's snow coming, and I might have to cancel my plans this weekend.
Oh yeah, I know. I forgot. There's going to be a lot of snow in Virginia Beach, apparently.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I seen that on the news, so I was like, please don't snow, please don't snow.
I don't mind the snow, it's just melting because I want to go see my friend up in Yorktown, which is an hour drive away through a tunnel. And I might have to postpone till the weekend after, which is fine. You know, we're all cool and all that, but I've been trying to see this particular friend since October.
Oh
The
no.
last time we hung out, I think, was September.
Wow.
It's not good. Well, it's hard to make time, you know.
Yeah.
But to go back to what we were talking about, the Lindsey Sterling I got. I talked about it last time that I tried to get the half blue, half clear pressing of the beautiful Letdown. Well, because Garth Brooks and his infinite wisdom decided to allow unlimited pre-orders for his limited edition box sets, there were over 1 million pre-orders.
People.
Plus stock for Cracker Barrel and Dollar General. Do you know how many records are in this box set?
Too darn many.
7. And there's 3 variations. So he had to have at least 7 million records pressed by November of last year.
I don't know why everybody likes Garth Brooks. There, I said it.
But
Like,
I'm going to
what
say
is
this.
the big deal?
I'm going to say this, though. He priced his box sets really nicely. For 7 records, you pay $45.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot
I
cheaper
I will
than I thought
applaud
that would be.
him for actually making it easily accessible. But I waited since last May, and it was supposed to be pressed again this January. Yeah, I call bull on that. And
Yeah,
the people that did that is SRC Vinyl. Do not buy from
oh,
them.
that does not surprise me at all.
What
I would
was
never buy from SRC
the
Vinyl.
thing is, I didn't know it was SRC because I pre-ordered through Bull Moose.
Yeah, that's the one downside to
Yeah,
stuff like that.
but I have, like I said, I pre-ordered that. I I pre-ordered Gigaton. That's already allocated for, and I've already pre-ordered for Haley. Haley and Paramore are the one exception that I will. I don't care if I eat ramen for a month. I will get that record. They're the one exception other than Tonight Alive that I will do that. This is kind of a sneak peek at a new video, but so I've got recently the Backspacer, and I got the got that picture disc. I recently got Taylor Swift's Lover, which I talked about, and
Uh-huh.
then my best friend, guy friend, I'll have to talk to him about getting his second record. I got Dashboard Confessionals, the best ones of the best ones. And it's not only the indie exclusive record, it is on dark maroon vinyl. It is one of the best sounding records in my collection.
Nice.
And it has Vindicated on it, and it's the only way you can get Vindicated on wax.
Awesome.
Actually, it is close to 30 songs, I want to say.
Wow.
You get your money's worth with it.
Yeah, for sure.
The only thing is the cover is lacking. It's the lead singer just standing there looking like, yeah, you bought this.
Mm-hmm.
But there are A1 through 5. There are 20 songs. 20 songs on this 2-disc set, which is pretty good for the price. And what worried me is my friend Aaron, giving a shout out to him, he got the black pressing, and he had problems with disc 2 and the backside of disc 1, and had to get it
Mm-hmm.
traded out, and he had to kind of morph his own version out of it. So for me, getting a perfect pressing, quote unquote, because no
Uh-huh.
pressing is perfect, I'm happy. So that's going to be an upcoming video. Probably not the one you're seeing if you're watching it after the fact and you're listening to this. The other one I got was, okay, so talking about Matt again, Too Many Records. When TMR 3 was coming out, um, he asked for some people to essentially submit some artwork so they could actually pick the album art because they didn't have one kind of set. So they picked one winner. It wasn't mine, but I still like the cover. And
Uh-huh.
I gave kudos to the guy because he won a whole bunch of swag for this. But everybody who submitted artwork got a very special limited edition 7-inch. It is
Mm-hmm.
clear, it has one song from the album, and it has an etched side. It is one of the coolest 7-inches I own, and is now one of the rarest 7-inches I own, which is so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds
Uh,
really, really cool.
and the only way you are able to get this is if you were one of the contest winners. So if somebody sells it, we know, hey, look at this asshole.
Yeah, he's somebody that submitted an entry for this contest.
Yeah, and I'm just even happy that they looked at it because that was my first time stepping out of my comfort zone, and I don't draw that much, but I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
proud with what I did. I knew I wasn't going to win, but I at least wanted to put myself out there because I knew I wasn't going to be able to buy it. because it was Christmas season at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know me, I like to buy early. So, uh, what I just decided to submit it, at least to do something to support.
Mm-hmm.
I could shout it out. As of right now, the recording of this video, there is TMR 5 that is happening. I'll explain that in just a moment. But I wanted to submit something that I knew would help. Even if I didn't win, at least it helped. Well, I received the 7-inch in the mail. It is so cool. And now it's one of my rarest in the collection. For example, of something that's kind of cool is there is a pressing of Hot Fuss from the Killers that has red coloring on the font on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
That pressing was only meant for the friends and family of the band.
Oh, wow.
So if somebody got that, it was like a friend of a friend giving it to a friend, and then that friend unfortunately having to sell it. So it's to that level of kind of quirky cool. And I'm just honored to even have that.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
And now I'm going to give a grand shout out to Matt and Too Many Records, because right now, as of the recording of this video, he has TMR 5 going.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, I got TMR 2 Vermilion Club. I absolutely love that album because it is one of the best sounding and one of the most beautiful looking records. Right now, and it's going until 22 days, until the end of February-ish, we are currently sitting at 95 out of 200. I'm going to bump this. I'm going to put a link in the description below of this video for you to check it out. And then, I love the coast. If you want to check it out, I will send you a link as well once we're done. I want to give this a shout out because Matt is so cool. I think it's so cool that he has his own label and that he is getting to press these records. This is stuff we need to applaud. This is stuff that we have to fund and keep going with.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It's definitely really cool to see him being able to press some albums.
Yes, and what's special about this album is for two things. One, it is Dylan Campbell of Vermilion Club, the singer of Vermilion Club, because Vermilion Club is two dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to take a sip of water there. It
Oh,
was
you're
the two
fine.
dudes, and then he did his when he was serving in the Peace Corps. He made his own album, and it was called Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of this is a leftover scraps of what he originally created in the Peace Corps, but you could definitely hear the kind of worldly influence it has on there. If you liked how his voice sounded in Vermilion Club, this is his singing voice. It's more kind of cinematic folk. I would say it's kind of like Sufjan Stevens, if I'm even pronouncing that right, mixed with a little bit of world kind of music in the background. It is really stellar. His signature is a splatter vinyl that matches the cover, and this cover is absolutely beautiful. I would not actually bump it if I didn't feel like it was worth a bump, and it is totally worth a bump. Secondly, because I wanted to back this so badly. And unfortunately, that's when I had to have the insulation done in my attic, and then all of a sudden I had to have my battery done. Well, one guy on the Too Many Records label, I'm not going to shout out his name because he could be listening and he might not be comfortable with me shouting his name out, but um, you know who you are, and I thank you ever so much for buying my copy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, the only way I'm able to get a copy is if we back it. So that's why I have to bump the shit out of this.
Uh-huh.
And one more thing I love about this is he makes it so it's affordable.
Yeah.
$20 plus shipping.
And honestly, that's not bad for like a brand new record.
And he cares about the quality of the record. Because not only that, he tells the people that are pressing it, you need to put it in a polyline sleeve or else I will not work with you.
Yeah.
And he cares about the mixing. With Q rates, or crates, I don't know how they pronounce it, you get a test pressing back to make sure it was within your blessing. Every single one has been great. So I want to see this funded, not because it was a gift from me, but because I want to shout out to one of the cool dudes out there, Matt at Too Many Records. He is way bigger than me than a YouTuber, but he deserves all the love that you can give him because he is such a cool dude. He does so much for the community and the vinyl community. He brings a bunch of people together, and he is getting some people who probably have dreamed about having music on vinyl, the ability to have music on vinyl. Now, I don't know what this means with the with the lacquers happening, especially with Q rates as a whole, but the ones he gets are kind of pressed overseas and then shipped to Michigan. So even then, like I said, I think they're direct metal mastered. I think he has talked about that. I think he talked a little bit about that in his video. I'll leave a link to both in the description. But yeah, I wanted to shout him out because I've met so many wonderful people through him, and that's just kind of close to my heart, is that. All right, just taking a little bit of sip of water. Hydrate, people. Always make sure you hydrate.
Oh yeah, I know. I've had a bottle of water next to me the whole time.
I actually have 2 full Tervis mugs, one that's smaller and one that's bigger. I've already gone through one of the Tervis mugs and I'm on my second one. I'm actually halfway done.
I always have to have a bottle of water near
Yes,
me.
hydrate up, people. Hydrate up. One thing I will say, vinyl-wise, which is not even related, I am Funko Pops. I collect them every once in a while, and it has to be like really special for me to go out of my way to buy it. One of my favorite movies of all time is Tombstone. And they announced the Tombstone line. So it's Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Virgil Earp, and Morgan Earp. But there are 3 variations of our lovely Doc Holliday. One is he has the little cup from the casino scene, and then he has his 2 shotguns from the I got 2 guns, one for each he has scene. Have you seen Tombstone?
I have, but it's been a long time, I feel like.
I have my VHS copy, and I'm probably going to pop it in because I have been looking far and wide. I told myself, yes, I have all this. I shouldn't be buying this, but I had 2 gift cards to Barnes & Noble, and I have been looking since this weekend. It is already Wednesday. I've been looking and looking and looking because I've been waiting since August when they announced these Funko to be able to grab one of my favorite characters of all time, Doc Holliday. Well, I go on to BarnesandNoble.com. I thought this might be my last chance, and then I look, and I have Verizon, and they allow you to get credits for like gift cards and stuff. I had 2 Barnes and Noble $3 gift cards, and the only reason I knew this is I saw they had, and you're hearing it right now, little faux ASMR. I checked, and I was like, okay, let me try the first one. Okay, I got $3 off. And then I tried the second one. I'm like, I have two cards. Okay, I'm getting this. So, on the way home, I picked it up, and I'm just so very happy. So when I actually get to watching it this weekend, because I'm looking at the latest forecast models, and Virginia Beach is looking to get 3 to 6 inches of snow.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Williamsburg is the same. Yeah. Um, yeah. Somebody
I
says,
hope we get no snow because I hate the
well,
snow.
somebody
So
says this one's way too high. This is just, this is one model of it. I know I'm under a winter storm watch right now. It's probably going to be a warning. What they mean by that is just snowfall and stuff. So I have everything prepared, but I don't want to miss out seeing my friend. I had plans this weekend. I had plans on going to see my friend, and that might not happen now. And I'm not happy. I'm obviously we can
Hey.
postpone. We can postpone. I know we can postpone, but it's just
Yeah, no, it's never fun when the weather gets in the way of your plans.
yeah. And not only that, we can get snow here, but we get hurricanes. So
Yeah.
it is the exact opposite of the spectrum when it comes to temperature. What could happen here? And heaven forbid we get a bomb cyclone, which is both of them together.
Yeah, no, I could not imagine that being fun at all.
We have a local pollen alert. Oh wait, no, that's Humboldt, Texas. I was on weather.com just to check things in between, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
why is it saying pollen alert? Oh yeah, that's when I went to see my uncle. The last time I pulled up weather.com was when I went to see my uncle in Texas, which they have pretty cool record shops there. I went to Cactus Records,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you've watched the video where I did the quick kind of overview of
I
that.
did. Yes.
That's a really cool shop, and it's all pretty much off the highway, right across from a Whataburger. And I did try it on the way home from my trip. It's all right. It's not like I'd have to try all the other ones there to see, but I was like,
Uh-huh.
it's okay. We did like the breakfast burger because at at that airport you get a burger anytime with Whataburger because it's a 24-hour place.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, it's okay. Their shake was wonderful. I loved their shake, and I rarely get shakes out because I'm trying to watch my weight and everything. I've
Mm-hmm.
actually never had a Shamrock shake because of just how many calories are in it, and I've always wanted to try one.
I like the mint shakes. I think that the mint is just fantastic.
Yeah, mint shakes. Yeah. All right, we have been going for about an hour and a half, and now we're reviewing mint shakes.
Yeah, I know. Hey, we're talking about food now.
Join our food blog down below. Oh, no. So I
Yeah.
think that is going to be good enough for us here. I'm still waiting on the record store day list. We have some confirmed, some not. I'm not going to go into speculation on that at all, but I can give you a sneak preview of some stuff and our listeners to what I have planned for my channel if you'd like to hear it very briefly.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm bringing back 6 Records, 6 Thoughts, and for those who are not familiar, that is where I have a friend pick 6 records out of my collection, and that's specific because my collection takes up 6 Clax squares. So I pick 6 random records from that area, and I pick the specific order, and I listen to them in the specific order. Part 1 is my pre-notions. Have I listened to this before? Have I not? How many years has it been since I listened to it? What am I going to think about this album before? Then, the idea is about 2 weeks later, but I usually release now every 2 weeks anyway. Normally, I release the same day that we post this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm bringing that back. But I have a friend who I talk to a lot more now on Discord, and he was talking about, hey, what are your thoughts on the Best Rock Album Grammy Award? So, what I'm going to do is we're going to walk through every single year, one episode, every single year, the Best Rock Album category. Talk
Mm-hmm.
very briefly about each of the albums, give what I would give for Best Rock Album, see if it matches via a reveal what actually won Best Rock Album, and then we'll see if I agree or not.
That's very interesting.
Yes, and this one actually might be a longer episode. I know everybody likes those 5-minute episodes, but this one actually might have to be a half
Mm-hmm.
hour episode. And this
Hey,
one might have to be probably like once every couple of months, so it gives me time to listen.
yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with having longer episodes either.
Right, definitely, but I like to keep mine under 10 minutes just because of not retention rates and everything, but sometimes you can't carve out a half hour for a video. So
Yeah.
this is going to be very special. I'm still trying to figure out things on how to use iMovie and everything. The way I have it now, and this is the main reason why I have a new intro. This is the current way as of this recording of how I make a YouTube video. So I sit down in my room, preferably during the day, so I get the best lighting. I actually have a window right behind the camera that I'm filming on my phone. So I film the video, I hop onto iMovie, and I edit the video. I render the video, upload it to Google Drive, download it to my computer, add the intro, then upload it to YouTube. You can understand that that is a very laborious process.
Yeah, definitely.
So now that I actually have it as a dedicated video on my phone, I can do everything on my phone, upload it as basically unlisted or private, hop on my computer, make the thumbnail, and then upload it. So it's going to streamline a lot of my process. And that might mean I could actually post more content, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because it makes it sound like you're gonna have a lot easier time uploading.
Yes,
So
because the way I've been doing it for years has been cumbersome to say the least. We're in
yeah,
the computer room right now where I used to use my old software that no longer can handle my type of phone, and the I don't shoot in 4K. I can, but I'm not. You don't want to see me in 4K just holding up a record. But I try to do my best with it. So you always look through a lens of you're not thinking of how the viewer sees it. It's you're seeing how you're seeing it. So there's that cynical edge, I think, always when you're filming a video where
hmm
you're exactly just like, I don't like this whatsoever. But then you put it out and everybody's like, this is amazing.
yeah. I feel like that's kind of how I am. Sometimes, like, I'll sit and I'll film and I'll edit, and then by the time I'm done with it, I'm like, okay, this is just going up how it is.
Mm.
And then people are like, oh my god, great video. And I'm just like, oh, really? Okay.
One thing for me that I need to get over is right now you haven't heard me say much. But the idea when I say in a video that I need to cut it, and then this is the little quirk with me. I say way too much, and if I have to make a cut, I don't give myself enough time in between cuts to make it look like it transitioned well.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'll be like, um, and then I'm like, oh no, 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 I need to stop.
Or there'll be a moment. For some reason, this happens to me in my videos. I'll be completely fine any other time, but going a little gross here, like a burp, for some reason, or my eye'll be itchy, or my face will suddenly be itchy, and I'm like, of all the times, right now when I'm filming,
Yeah, YouTuber problems.
YouTuber problems. That's the hashtag. Hashtag YouTuber problems. I don't think we can use what's the beef graps this time.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Hashtag
And
don't fall for the flippers.
yeah,
Don't fall there. Don't fall for the flippers.
for sure, that's a good one. Well, I mean, I guess we did kind of talk about what would make old grandpas mad
But yeah,
about, Disney picture discs
you
and all
know
that
what?
kind of fun stuff.
We might not have said it, but what's the beef gramps?
Yep.
There, there. I said it. Now we can use it. Now that you know what, that's gonna have to be a running joke now. I think is that's probably gonna be our running joke. Is I'm an old man complaining, meh.
Yeah, definitely. I run into that a lot in the VC.
Yeah, well, there are some wonderful people in the VC, including my lovely co-host and you all that are watching.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of really nice people out there that I've met and I've really
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed getting to know in the VC. At first, I was really nervous because I know a lot of the older guys are like super audiophiles that have to have everything so perfect. And I was like, they're going to think I'm stupid and wasting my time. And like, they're going to
Yeah.
think that I don't know what I'm doing and yada, yada, yada. And, I stopped caring about what they think about me because
Hmm.
I really don't give two craps.
Nope. And we're doing this for us because we love collecting, we love talking about music,
Hmm.
and all of that. So, with that, I think we can do our little closing remarks that we always do. Do you have anything to say to our lovely audience before we go?
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this new episode, and I look forward to our next one.
Exactly. I look forward to our next one as well. But as I say at the end of everything that I do, I know we've been having fun for an hour and a half, but it is time. We do have our lives to get back to. It is time to get back to life. As I say at the end of everything I am in, everything I do, when the waters get rough, please, please keep on sailing. Dory says keep on swimming. I say keep on sailing. When you think that there is nothing left, when you have those dark thoughts, when you are at a low point in your life, heaven knows I'm at a low point right now, especially getting knocked in the teeth by two very, very, very expensive financial things, being a homeowner and a car owner. There's always positives to look for. There is always something positive to look for. Just because you have this problem now, and I'm not a licensed physician, this is just my thoughts here. Even if you feel like there's a problem now, you can overcome it. That is the beauty of life. You can overcome anything, that you put your mind to. If you put in the work for it, you can do it. And I, for one, believe in you. And I know there's my lovely co-host believes in you as well.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, yes, we both believe in you, and we both want the best for you, dear listener. And we thank you so very much for listening. It does mean a lot, and we value you here. We value any interaction that we do have outside of this. If you subscribe to both of our channels or just one channel and no crossover, you know, we value that so very much. You are worth it. You are beautiful. Be you. As Mr. Rogers says, there's only one you, and that's something that I live by every day. There's only one you, and you just being you is completely wonderful. So, until next time, thank you so very much for listening. And if you have listened through this whole thing, we are well past the engagement of liking and commenting. But if you did like this, please continue to like it and comment. If you waited until the end of the video, that means a lot too, because you sat here and listened to us. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. And I hate to push the bell icon because that is weird for some people, but I'm going to go ahead and push it here because that'll let you know exactly when this gets uploaded. So then that way you
Hmm.
know exactly when to like. And even if you haven't listened yet and you'll say, hey, this is awesome, can't wait to listen. Even that comment helps this get out there. YouTube's algorithm is completely wonky. I've talked to Matt about this. I've talked to my friend Jordan on this. It's completely wonky. And my buddy Jordan, he's up to 40,000 subscribers, and he still needs to have the like and the comment for the algorithm to get through. So if you think we're small, he's a little bit bigger, and he still needs to have this done. So if you want to help us and you want to support us, like and comment absolutely. But if you're up to this point, the bell icon does help. It does let you know when that content time to really, really help us is out there. So if you really like this and you really want to help us, we appreciate it. I have to give the like, comment, and bell because that means a lot to us. And if you want this to grow into something bigger, that helps as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm super excited about it. And I feel like we've been growing at a really steady pace.
Yes,
And, I'm excited to continue to grow.
I am as well. So thank you again, dear listener, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, evening, pre-evening, whatever time you are listening to this.
Yeah. Have a good one.